Blog Talk Radio.
Hello everyone, this is Laurie Smith on Blog Talk Radio, and good morning. It's January 14th, 5:30 in the morning, Calgary, Alberta time. I'm just waking up and having some coffee and just getting my notes organized, and I'm happy to be here. This is a 15-minute live internet streaming blogtalkradio.com broadcast, and you're more than welcome to phone in. I have a guest call-in number, and that is 917-889-3736, and I also have a chat window up, and you're welcome to sit in the chat room and just relax. And I have information typed up in there regarding the topic, and also just some resources and references and stuff. So I just hope that you can tune in. And this week I thought we would talk about child sexual abuse, and I found some good information. I found some articles from healthyplace.com. And they have some pretty good articles on what is child sexual abuse and the effects of child sexual abuse on children, and then also common symptoms in adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse. You can just go right on their website and check them out. They have lots of great information on there regarding all types of abuse and effects on the children, and then adult survivor issues. So there is some good information there on all kinds of different things, and I do recommend their website. It's www.healthyplace.com. And so I'm just going to read what I found there regarding child sexual abuse, because it is such an epidemic and it's such a problem. We see it in the news. It's in the papers. It's happening, and it's happening all around the world, and it's happening right in our own backyards, so in our own homes. That's why this is so important to me, just to keep doing this show, right? One child abuse survivor to another, because really this needs to stop, and the only way it's going to stop is education, I believe, and a change in the laws, and also people. It's really, you can't just leave it up to everybody else to do the work. When I first started getting involved, about a couple of years ago, I just saw something on TV that bothered me so much, and I thought, why am I just sitting on the couch when I don't like what I see? So I'm going to sit and cry and complain about what I see going on in the world, all these atrocities and horrible things, and even in my own backyard. Excuse me, and I'm not going to get involved. So that's what changed my mind about the whole thing. I thought we all do need to stand up. We all need to take responsibility for this, because after all, it's our world, and if we're not going to be active players in getting things straightened out, then it's not going to ever get straightened out. And so this is why I'm doing this Blog Talk Radio show, and also just to be another voice for survivors of child abuse and human rights abuses, just for them to know that they're not alone, and that there is help out there. So I thought I'd pass whatever I find on to you guys. So that's the main purpose for this show. And if it just needs to stop. I'm so happy to be able to stand up and do this and try to get some positive change within our own world, right? So they have some good stuff here. I'm going to start out with their article on what is child sexual abuse, and some of it's pretty detailed, so I'm not, because there could be children listening on the air. I'm not sure who's listening, so I'm just going to kind of skim over that article. But you can get the full article just by going on the website at www.healthyplace.com. And this definitions of child sexual abuse and signs that a child is a victim of sexual abuse. Sexual abuse of children is a harsh fact of life in our society. It is more common than most people realize. Some surveys say at least 1 out of 5 adult women and 1 out of 10 adult men report having been sexually abused in childhood. And this is an article. This was last written and updated on September 2009. So, there's the facts have probably changed, and the statistics. So I don't have the most recent statistics, but even just going with this, 1 out of 5 adult women and 1 out of 10 adult men report having been sexually abused in childhood. This is how serious this is. And so if you're in a group of 10 men, there's a big possibility that one of you has been abused sexually as a child. And if you're in a group of 5 women, there's a big possibility that 1 out of the 5 of you women have been abused as a child, sexually abused as a child. So this is why this is so serious, and I just want to really call attention to it and just take some time talking about it, because nobody wants to talk about it because it's so painful and so atrocious and so horrible, but it's going on. It's going on behind closed doors, and people, because of the sensitivity of the subject, people don't like to talk about it, and they often ignore it. And as we read through here, we'll see some of that, right? Child sexual abuse, they go into the actual topic of just, what it is, and I'm not going to read that out, but it says, it's any sexual act with a child performed by an adult or an older child, right? And it goes on to explain that. And other forms of abuse can also occur that are not as easy to detect. These include showing like child pornography or dirty pictures or videotapes, or using the child as a model to make pornographic materials, right? And we know this is going on, and we know it's just got to stop. And I'm so happy to be able to say stop child sexual abuse, stop child abuse, and with this society, our world needs to change this, right? And we're the only ones that are going to be able to do this, right? So it's so important to get involved wherever you can. And I know we only have so many resources, and we only have so much time, and so that's why, as long as we're all doing something, I mean anything, whether it's donating to a charity or an organization that is really making some decisions with the way they're handling the money and the way that they're handling the situation and actually doing some good work, or helping out in a local community setting with children who are abused, or just supporting it in any possible way that we can. I think that's what it's going to take. I know it's hard. We all have limited resources and funds and time. So, but if we all did it, if everyone pitched in, it would definitely make a difference. And if you are pitching in and you are doing your part, thank you so much. And that just comes from the bottom of my heart. It says boys and girls are abused in this way most often by adults or older children who are known to them and who can exert power over them. The victim knows the offender in 8 out of 10 reported cases. The offender is often an authority figure whom the child trusts or loves. The offender persuades, bribes, tricks, or coerces the child to engage in sex or sexual acts, right? So it's usually someone the child knows, because that's who has access to the child. It's normally someone who has access to the child, and not always, but it's like what they said, 8 out of 10 reported cases. So that's a lot. That's a high percentage, right? And it says, you hope that your son or daughter would tell you or someone else about it. Yet children who are being abused often have been convinced or threatened by the abuser that they must not tell anyone about it. It's got to be our secret. You see that on the websites, our dirty little secret or whatever. That's so true, right? They are manipulated and coerced and then told or threatened that they're not allowed to tell anyone. And children, that's a frightening experience. And if you've never been through it, get on some blogs and start reading people's blogs about their own personal child abuse issues, whether it's sexual, physical, emotional, whatever, and see how these children were treated and what they were told and how they dealt with it, because this sort of thing is horrible, and so many people have gone through it. And if you haven't gone through it, I'm just very thankful. And but if you have, then you would know what it's like to be threatened, have your life threatened, and not be able to tell anyone, or to feel that, or even just to feel that your life is threatened, right? You might not have even been told verbally, but you have the fear and that it could happen, that if you did speak out, something bad would happen to you, right? So it is so bad. It says, a child's first statements about abuse may be vague and incomplete. He or she may just hint about the problem. Some abused children may tell their friends about it, who may then tell an adult. Many children tell about abuse after a personal safety program is held at their school, and sometimes parents may have suspicions about abuse. Parents need to be aware of the following behavioral changes in their child, and these may signal sexual abuse. So these are very important. Noticeable fear of a person or certain places, right? They all of a sudden, you notice that they're afraid of one person who comes around, or certain places, and let's say it's somebody's house that you take them to, or someplace you go visiting with the child. If they all of a sudden have a lot of fear, that's kind of an idea that there's obviously something wrong, right? Unusual or unexpected response from the child when asked if she was touched by. I don't have that next piece. I don't know where that went. Oh, by someone. Okay. So unusual or unexpected response from the child when asked if he or she was touched by someone, right? And unreasonable fear of a physical exam. Drawings that show sexual acts. These are things that a child might do that could sort of tip you off that there's a child sexual abuse going on. Abrupt changes in behavior, such as bedwetting or losing control of bowels. Sudden awareness of their sexual parts and sexual acts and words, and attempting to get other children to perform sexual acts, right? Because these are things that children should not know about. And so if your child is doing things like that, or even if it's not your child, but it's a friend of your children, and you see this going on, you know something's wrong, because children do not, maybe not, but you should check into it. My whole thing is, if you suspect that a child is being abused, if you even have a suspicion, right, you think, man, I wonder if that child's being abused, make sure you make the proper phone calls. Do the right thing, because as much as I know there's horror stories out there going on about, if I phone, it'll tear the family apart, or if I phoned, they'll take the child away, and maybe they weren't being abused. Well, guess what? If you don't phone, that child could be killed. Every day, there's information in the paper regarding how many children are murdered in a caregiver's or parents' violent hands, and we have to make sure that these children are being looked after. So don't let it just go by, because you could save a child's life. That's what I think. Very important. And, if you even suspect it, make sure you do follow up with it. Call someone to ask what you should do, because there's good information out there, and there's hotlines, and there's numbers in the front of the phone book. You can just open it up, and there's usually community, crisis lines and different things like that. So make sure you do make the phone call. So we've got a couple minutes left, and I just wanted to go through what we'll be talking about this week. We're going to be talking about the physical signs of child sexual abuse, as well as parents can prevent or lessen the chance of sexual abuse by doing these things, right? They list them out. Psychological trauma of child sexual abuse, and then there's physical symptoms of childhood sexual abuse, as well as psychological and behavioral symptoms of childhood sexual abuse. This is common symptoms in adult survivors. So there's lots of good information here. And I also have some resources. I wanted to... I'm a volunteer for Dreamcatchers for Abused Children, and they have a great website, and they also have a free download. It's a PDF free download called Child Abuse Handbook, and it is on their website. You can just go right to their website at http://dreamcatchersforabusedchildren.com, and you can get that information there. Just check that out. They have some really good information on their website. And the Silver Braid organization, founded by Ann Bissell, they have a great website for people who have dealt with childhood sexual abuse or who are being sexually abused, and also for sexual exploitation victims. The Silver Braid Survivors of Sexual Exploitation Network is the voice of Justice Network. It's the voice of Voices for Justice Network, headed up by Ann Bissell, and they have hotlines and things, 1-888-702-7273. That's the Silver Braid Survivors. Just go onto your website and type in your browser Silver Braid organization, and you'll be able to bring that right up. I'm a member, and I do support them any way I can. And there's lots of great information out there. There's hopeforhealing.org. That is Gail Crabtree's website, www.hopeforhealing.org. She's an advocate for domestic violence and sexual assault. And please check her website out. That's hopeforhealing.org. And there's so many references and stuff. If I can ever get you some information, or if you need something, please get a hold of me. I'll be back on tomorrow morning, 5:30, same time, just to continue on our topic here. And make sure you do reach out. Don't suffer in silence. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not your fault. First of all, the abuse is not your fault. And that's why I just say, just reaching out. and you will find the help that you need. Just stay with us. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.